Well, welcome to our intermission segment. We're here in the first period. For tonight's game, we're looking back at the 04-05 season. Last night's game, you got to see the 04-05 season through the eyes of the coaches, and tonight we're going to take a look at it through the eyes of the players, those guys that were on the ice and competing all year long. So I'm going to ask each of these guys to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started on our conversation. Jared, you want to lead us off?
Sure. Jared Festler. Cooch probably called me Mama's Boy. It's probably my nickname. Other than that, otherwise we were the baby line, diaper line. I was the freshman on the team, I guess, that year. So.
Me? Sure. I'm Mikael Lickteig, class of 05, and I guess my nickname would probably be Licky or Licks. I don't think I had anything special like diaper line or golden boy or anything like
that. Steve Festler, again, a senior on the team that year. The nickname was Golden Boy, and I guess Stevie Wonder too kind of forgot. Cooch referred to me as that as well.
I'm Joe Cotton. I was class of 06, so junior with these guys as seniors. I don't think Cooch really had a nickname for me too much either, other than when I would get a little fiery or red in the hair, he would call me Joel instead of Joe. Or oh, Joel's coming out, so we'd have to calm me down.
I can go. Or Jimmy?
No, go ahead, TJ.
Okay. So yeah, I'm TJ Ringwelski. I'm an 06 grad, so I was a junior with these guys. I don't really have any nicknames that I can remember, unless you guys can. I'm pretty sure it was just TJ.
Ringer.
Maybe Ringer, yeah. But yeah, no fancy nicknames like the Festler brothers.
Jim Pender. I was a junior that year, and it was either Jimmy or Pender. So pretty easy.
So I think most of you guys had a chance to go back and take a look at the interview that we did with Kuchar and John Majorly. And I want to start at the same place that we started with them. I want to talk a little bit about that 03-04 section championship game against Wadena. You had played Wadena earlier in the year. You lost to them at home. Then you went up to Wadena. They were 19-0 at the time, and you pulled out a victory in Wadena. And then you met again for the third time that season in the section championship game. I guess just talk a little bit, share some thoughts about that game. You obviously ended up losing it 2-1 on a goal in the last minute of the game, which certainly was heartbreaking for many. But talk a little bit about your memories of that game. I realize some of you probably want to shut that one out of your mind, but what do you remember?
I remember us playing actually a really good game. I thought it was ours to have. I just thought we just missed a lot of easy chances, or just hitting the pipe there, and things just weren't bouncing our way. We weren't getting puck luck, and sure enough, they had something that bounced over one of our guys' stick. They went on a little 2-on-1 and scored with a minute left, and it just felt like a dagger.
Yeah, I would say, I'd echo pretty much that, in that it was a close, tough battle overall, and games like that come down to a bounce here or there, and they got the bounce, and it was late in the game, and we just couldn't recover at that point. So
yeah, it was a game that we never really felt like we were, from my perspective, we weren't out of control at any point in time. Felt like it was in our hands, and that pipe was ringing like a church bell. I think we hit it at least half a dozen times.
Yeah, it felt like we were gonna get it eventually, and it just never happened. And eventually happened for them, unfortunately.
Well, the way the game started too, I mean, we scored like, what was it, under a minute, right? I mean, I don't know, it was really fast. And you're like, we're like, this is it, here we go, right? And but that was the only goal we got. So
So that game then, obviously, while it stung, it probably also served as some motivation for the next season and within your preparations for the 04-05 season. So let's just talk about what your mindset was going into that 04-05 season. How are you guys feeling about the year and what might be possible?
I think we had a lot of returning scoring, and then we also knew that we had the addition of Jared and the diaper line coming in to help us out a lot. And I thought we were even more talented that next year, and it's pretty excited to get back on the ice after what happened the year before. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good group coming in, so we expected to compete. We lost, obviously, like Morgan Sakala was one of the bigger scorers. We lost Matt Peterchek and lost a few guys on the blue line. And goaltending, I guess that was maybe another big one. But overall, I think we knew we had some talent coming up, and we expected the guys coming back that were on the team the previous year to obviously step up in a bigger way. And so I think we felt good, and we knew what else was out there in the section, I'd say too, in terms of what we, other teams had, and felt like we probably had a pretty good shot, at least. I don't know if I would have said I knew we were going to go undefeated in section play the whole year and walk through that part of it, but felt probably pretty confident that we were going to have a, pretty good shot at making a run at it.
I think those seniors the year before that you just listed, Morgan and Ricky and Matt and a lot of those guys, they were bruisers. They worked really, really hard. So I think, when losing that game, it was like, dang, we put a lot into this, and seeing that, and then knowing what we were coming back with, especially, Fest, you and Licks, you guys were tough. You were strong scorers, and also we knew we had firepower. It was just a matter of if it was going to be enough. And we kind of put it together that year. And I mean, you guys scored a lot of points and carried us a lot of the way, but then we had Teach, you and the bruisers on that third line, just, getting out there and messing things up and trying to prevent goals and giving us a rest, who were a little bit more of the, goal scorers and such. And that's really, it's a team thing.
Yeah, you need all three lines to work and buzz, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't remember kind of like Steve's point. I don't remember going to that season thinking this, we're for sure going to state this year. I think, coming off of the last season, it became more of a reality, right? Like we saw how close we could get. And then I think at that point, we kind of knew, we knew Wadena graduated, all those seniors, and you kind of look around in the section. It's like, well, I think everybody's pretty beatable. And, maybe if things go right, and and then, I don't even remember Wadena being that good, going into the section championship. I was surprised to hear that they were as good as they were after graduating all those seniors. But yeah, so I would say, I knew we were going to be good, but I didn't know that we were going to, have all the firepower we needed to go all the way to the state tournament.
So Jared, for you as a freshman coming into this group, what was that like?
Well, I grew up obviously playing with a bunch of them, and then with my brother being a senior, I knew that age group as well. Watching them, obviously the year before, not quite make it in a late period goal. I knew they had the drive. I knew that we had the talent to play, and then obviously, like you said, looking around the section and Wadena losing 14 seniors, that's a huge loss to a team. And then, we just, the unknowns, you just never know when you get a new group of guys, are the freshmen even going to contribute? Are the sophomores, the first years, whatever you consider them, are they going to contribute? Or, are the seniors, if one injury could ruin your season, you just never know. But I knew we had a talented group of guys, and we had the team, to put together 3-4 lines that could actually compete and make a run for it. So it was, just the upperclassmen that oversaw us, and they kind of, took us under their wing and, helped us younger kids, be able to compete and know what it's like to play at that level.
Was there any, Steve, hazing of the younger brother that year?
Nope.
I honestly don't remember. I guess doing much, but I
Maybe.
don't remember.
Cooch wouldn't allow it.
He was
I think the only
protective
thing-
over his freshman that he was babying there a little bit, so he was making sure to take care of him, I guess.
Another thing about that year too, that and it's a bummer he couldn't be on tonight, but Jake stepped up in the net, and he was always super agile, athletic, and a solid goalie. And Georgie was really, really good the year before. Those skates were tough to fill, and Jake did a good job. That rounds out the team when you have somebody who can stop the puck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was an athletic kid.
Yeah,
Right.
super good athlete for sure.
So were there certain people that had certain roles on this team? I mean, like somebody was the scorer, but somebody was the enforcer, or I mean, we talked about like TJ's line was the bruiser line. What were the roles that different people had to assume with this team?
Well, we always look at Jimmy for the big hit.
Yep.
Cooch used Kyle Barnes. He put him up with Lickteig and I for a period of time in the season just to add someone to be, not Cooch.
Someone that'll go in the
I mean, he would be
corners.
on here. He'd be loving this as I'm walking myself into a corner here. But he wanted someone on our line to, be kind of more of a bruiser, going a little bit more physical. Yeah, a little more physical presence.
We'll be F1. We'll get that puck first. We'll hang out in the middle.
Yeah. Cooch would love this. He'd eat this up right now. But yeah, so he did, he changed some things up there. Then Cotty ended up playing with us probably a big majority of the season. But for a little bit, he kind of used Kyle Barnes there. Jared, your line was almost together almost the whole year, weren't they?
The whole year, pretty much. Yeah, except for when I got mono and had to be out for a little bit. But yeah, otherwise we were same line the whole time.
That's
almost.
what I thought. I don't remember you guys ever changed.
I think Cotty joined us for a little bit too.
Might have been when Kyle was up on our line for a little bit.
Yeah, I do remember Cooch switching around lineups a little bit here and there.
Not much though, but a little bit
here.
Sartell, he did, and it didn't work out too well. I remember.
Yeah, he talked about that actually. Him and the one thing they didn't mention is that Sartell game. It was in Sartell. They were right. They kind of had part of the details right. They'd had some details not right, but we lost. We were actually both sitting in the box. I think was it you or I that had the checking from behind. So one of us was in there for 10 minutes in a two.
I think it was you.
And they were looking at us. They are not happy with us sitting in there and just screaming at us. But yeah, but it was another one that doesn't come out. I don't know if Cooch remembers it, but me and Lickteig always talk about this. Is the practice that he split us up. We weren't happy, so I won't say that we weren't happy, but we were out on the ice just kind of screwing around, shooting at the end, and he thought we were out there pouting. And he came out and tore us up, calling us prima donnas. He was screaming at us. It was something we talk about and laugh about now. So
yeah, I thought we were joking, but he did not take it as a joke.
So let's talk about just that regular season a little bit. What's a game that sticks out to you or in your mind that you'll as being important or significant during that regular season?
For me, there was I remember we played Sauk Rapids at Sauk Rapids, and Steve and I were like interviewed before the game right in front of their locker room. And I remember the game, they shadowed me and Steve almost everywhere we went. And him and I didn't know how to handle it. And they ended up beating us, but it really woke us up that like, you can't just bring a B game or a C game on a given night, especially when a team's motivated to beat you when you're doing an interview in front of their dang locker room. So it definitely woke me up to being like, hey, you can't just show up and expect to score, 2-3 goals a game. You actually have to be mentally there. So that was a big turnaround for me that year.
I'll be honest, the regular season doesn't bring back a ton of memories of that year. Just the regular season. You're like, we won every section game, didn't really lose much that we shouldn't have. Obviously lost maybe a couple conference games we shouldn't have. Sartell, Sauk Rapids. One fun game was the championship game of our home tournament, Jamestown. They ended the game with couple minutes left in the third period. I don't know how much we were beating them by. It might have been just a couple goals, but that game got nasty. And I remember it being in the corner, and I threw the puck up. I was behind Jake Kluver behind the net and had retrieved the puck and threw it up to Lickteig or somebody on the wing. And this guy just way late, he was headhunting, came in at me and with a stick and hit me pretty good. And Jake Kluver came right out of the net he came with his blocker and just started beating him over the head. And that was, the game was over shortly after that. So, and then they never I don't think they've ever came, or been invited back to our tournament.
They've been banned.
Yeah.
Was this the year, like, so regular season games of 04-05, was this the year so I know we lost to Sartell that year, I think.
Yeah.
Was that the Parker year? And like, no,
that was our senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't our year.
All right, never mind.
That's a good story, though. I know exactly that night that you're talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's not this year, Mark.
No.
We'll save that for the next
You
interview.
want to talk about the Alexandria TJ play?
I mean, when puck at
Oh, yeah.
TJ can tell it.
One of my favorite moments of that year.
So we were in Alex. Yeah, we were in Alec, regular season game, and I don't know how it happened because I never played with Steve and Lickteig, but I was in the ice with them, and I got the puck. Like, from what I remember, it was like in a really high slot, like basically from the point. So like I wasn't looking to score. All I remember thinking is get the puck on net, keep it low, like keep it tippable, right? And because Steve, like, in the visual I have in my head is Steve and Lickteig, like basically on the pipes, like looking at me in the ready position.
Get it on net.
Yeah. And the puck did the exact opposite. It went almost straight up in the air. It went over the net, over the glass, and like in Alec, there used to be at least like a mezzanine, up top, and it was like a direct shot to whatever was up there. And like Steve, like, blew a fuse. Like that's the reason I remember it so vividly, is because you like got super mad at me.
I'm being serious, Mark. I don't know if you're familiar with Alexandria's rink or not, but it was like he took out a pitching wedge and hit that puck, and it went.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even remotely close to getting by the net.
So these guys.
I remember that one. I do think high slot is pretty generous. I think it was closer to the hash lines.
Well, I remember
that was straight up.
But so now, I mean, 20 years later, these guys still get on me about that. And the conversation, it was tipped. The puck was tipped. It was like, because you could not, like physics, the law of physics would get in the way. Like, you can't get a wrist shot.
That's why I was screaming, because I couldn't believe you did it.
On you, like, you shot it, And I just remember when you left the ice for the next face-off, Steve's still yelling about you. I am laughing, lining up for the face-off.
Yeah, just barking at me. But yeah, I remember that one for sure.
Good moment.
Good one.
Don't know if we won or lost, but we must have won if we were.
I think we won that one, actually.
We beat out a couple times that year, I think.
Yeah.
And TJ never got to play with you guys again.
No, that was it.
Your one shot at glory, and
blew it.
TJ, Kuchar referenced in his interview with us a lot that you were the poor victim of his garbage cans and water bottles. And got any of those stories that you recall vividly?
Yeah, that was a weird deal. Like it just kept happening too. Like, it wasn't a one-off thing. It was like whenever Kuchar came in hot and he was looking to kick something, it just always seemed to come my way. There's water bottles, trash cans, clipboards, a lot of projectiles coming my way. But yeah, I guess the only thing I remember is like his boots. Like, you could line up 1,000 people and just show me them from their knee down, and I could tell you which which feet are Kuchar's from the 04-05 season, like brown leather boots, rounded
Big
toes.
calves, massive
Yeah,
calves.
yeah, slightly pigeon-toed, like calves the size of volleyballs. So yeah, I don't remember anything specifically, just that like it was like after a couple, like the second or third time it happened, it kind of started to catch on. It was like, this is actually kind of funny that TJ just keeps getting the business.
I think it happened the first game of the year was Morris Benson, I believe, and he came in hot because, we thought we were probably going to walk in and kind of beat up on him, and it was a close game, at least at the time. I don't remember what the score ended up being exactly, but he came in, yelling, calling us again prima donnas. You guys got to come out and be ready to go and all that good stuff. And that was the first game of the year, and that was the first incident, I'm pretty sure too. I think River Lakes or whatever was another one where it happened that year. I remember a couple.
I know
of them pretty
Sartell was
specifically.
one.
Oh, really? Did you hit
Sartell
Sartell was the boot. I remember that one vividly. That was the foot garbage can right to him.
Yeah,
I don't think the clipboard was until we were at state.
See, that's what I was trying to place it too, and I don't know. Yeah, it was. I remember him walking around the corner and whipping that thing like without looking. Whoa! Papers went flying. Yeah, yeah. It's funny that I did watch the first half of the Kuchar and Majorly interview, and I did catch that, and I was wondering if they were gonna remember it. It's funny that it came up and it stuck with them too. But yeah, we all survived. No injuries were had.
You're tougher for it. Look at you now.
Yep. Cat-like reflexes.
There you go.
So was it pretty easy to tell when that was coming? I mean, or did Stark do a really good job of kind of disguising that he was setting this thing up?
You knew every time.
Yeah, pretty familiar with the blowups.
Usually, if he was a little bit later in the locker room, like he'd come in pretty quickly. He'd come in quickly most of the time, but if it was a little bit delayed, it was like, oh boy.
The longer.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward ahead then to the section tournament. Oddly enough, you get a first round bye basically. You're supposed to play Crosby.
I didn't remember why it was. I was trying to figure that out, and they said the teacher strike. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I do kind of remember now, but I was wondering why we had a bye. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me.
So then you
got 10 more points.
Yeah.
So you get into the semifinals. What do you remember about that game?
I don't remember a thing. I don't remember who we played.
Prairie Center.
Oh,
I remember,
really?
Yeah, I think we beat them like 7-4. I don't remember much about it. It was, I don't think we played great, but they weren't super strong team either. So I think we were pretty focused on just getting that section championship and getting to that game. But I don't remember a lot about the game beyond, we beat them. I don't think we played extraordinarily well. I don't think we played bad. But yeah, that's
a business trip.
Yep.
So you move on then to the section championship against Wadena. First of all, how much of a relief was it that you weren't playing Fergus Falls?
I wanted it to be Fergus.
You did?
Yeah.
It would have been sweet to beat them in the championship game, but I don't remember much about them actually that year. I don't remember like how bad we beat them, but they obviously weren't probably super strong that year. So, but Wadena's good to get revenge on too, because it was pretty fresh in our mind. They just took us down the year before. So
Wadena had that one big bruiser on defense. He hit hard. He was a strong player. He could handle the puck really well. And then they had Postel, who was really solid. So
they had Pettit. Was he a freshman? Josh Pettit
was a freshman or
sophomore.
Yeah.
Slick too. I mean, players, and they were solid. So they weren't a pushover going into that game, and I think we knew that because they gave us a little bit of a trick during the regular season too. They were good competition.
Yeah, they were pretty decent.
So you jumped out to an early lead. I think you were up 2-0 after the first period, if I remember right. Feeling pretty confident at that point, or what's the mindset?
I was pretty scarred from my previous 2 times being there and being in the lead. So not really. I mean, not to skip too far forward, but I really wasn't like locked in and saying, yep, we got this until we got that 4th goal. To be quite honest, that game, I knew we weren't going to lose at that point. I would do whatever we had to do. I'd stand back on defense the whole time if we needed to, right? We're not going to lose at that point. So
yeah, I think we were up 3-0 and then they scored. And I think all of us just were like, oh my gosh, gripped our stick tight and just like panicking, even though we were well in charge of that game. There was never really a doubt, but we've seen it played out before so many times. Kuchar's seen it so many times played out before. So then finally, like you said, we got that 4th goal. And I think I tackled you after you scored it.
Yeah.
It's like, thank God we finally did it.
And Jimmy, you had a big hit in that game. I think it was in that 3rd period, if I remember right. They talked about that. Tony and John talked about that in their interview. What do you remember about that hit?
Yeah, concussion too. Isn't
Yeah, that's probably why I don't remember.
It's in your video, isn't it, Licks?
The video I made, I put it in there because he just destroyed the kid.
Yeah. So I thought
no, I remember that one now. It's not as good on camera as it is in my mind, but he is going at a pretty good click coming out of their defensive zone, I want to say, and it's like I just got in his way and I weighed more than he did and I hit a lot more mass, so he went down first and then it's like, all right, now I can fall down.
Jake Kluver, is that you that just joined us?
It is. Sorry I'm late, guys.
No worries.
Jake the Snake.
Typical goalie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how to work technology and use your camera?
Yeah, I'm not in a great spot. Is it up now?
No.
Kluver, Mark was just asking why you let up so many goals against Duluth Marshall in the state. This is the first state hockey game.
You know, my neck's still a little sore from looking behind me the whole time. But yeah, I can't say I played well that game.
Hey, I'm just kidding, Kluver.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what else. I got no excuses.
Slow down, Jake. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, just busting your chops, buddy.
Okay, all right.
So you win that section championship game 4-1. The monkey's off your back. For Little Falls hockey, you finally have broke through. You've qualified for that first state tournament. What was it like coming back to Little Falls after that game?
There was a lot of excitement. I'll be honest. You know, in just the community. When we went to the first game too at the Excel, I remember walking out the tunnel to go on the ice and looked, skate around, look back to where our crowd was, and I don't think I've ever seen more support from our community on anything than that. Like it was quite impressive. So people were excited, and the community rallied around us quite a bit, and it was great to see. It was really fun, and glad we were able to kind of be that first group. It was fun to be that first group and bring a team down to the state tournament.
Yeah, I remember getting police escorted into town too. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
What's really funny is Dave Stump was the escort. He pulled over the wrong bus the first time.
No way, really?
Yeah, like he pulled over the band.
That's fantastic.
They referenced that they escorted the wrong bus back into town. But
Great.
and they came and got you guys.
Do you guys like? Do you remember? Like, I remember that, but like, I don't remember getting back to the arena. Like, did we do anything? Like, did we like hang out at the arena, or did we just kind of like say, okay, we're going home?
We were there a little bit, but we had, I mean, it was like
There.
it was like a Thursday or Tuesday night. I mean, it was like we had school the next
Oh.
day. So I don't, you know, not really. We were, I mean, a little bit, you know, hung out around the rink there for a little bit. A lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Parents were there, I think, and stuff. And you know, maybe some, you know, some people and fans and stuff, but yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy.
What about that week then leading up to the state tournament? You had a pep assembly at school before you left, probably had a little skate around, stopped at the Dairy Queen, which became tradition after that first year for Little Falls teams to do. But what do you remember about that week as a whole leading up to that trip to St. Paul? Not much.
Not a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of events, a lot of things that weren't hockey related, and a lot of distractions. I remember.
Didn't we do like a dinner at like some place?
Listen.
I don't. Oh, that okay. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of remember it. We had like little swag bags or something. We got a dinner, and the one thing I'll say I remember at the Dairy Queen, the only person, the freshman on the team, he had to have a large blizzard. He couldn't have a medium, so he was the one. Jared as the one person that had to make sure he had that large blizzard.
Nobody loves his team meals more than Jared.
His team desserts.
Yeah, sorry, take two. They're small, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I thought that the community came together as a whole. I remember, you know, the amount of t-shirts, the swag bags we got, the pep rally, everything, you know, our band, everybody came together, from Thursday to Wednesday, realistically. And I thought our community did a great job of supporting us. And like my brother had said, that, you know, that was probably the most support I've ever seen our community come together and support as an athletic community. You know, we weren't a part of the state tournaments back in the day of any sort, but, you know, as far as the hockey arena, you know, it was jam packed, four rows deep most nights in the state, you know, towards the end. And, you know, just the amount of support that we got from our community, I thought it was pretty exciting, especially as a young person. You know, and you look back and that's what you remember, I guess, more so than, you know, obviously going on to the XL for the first time was pretty incredible as well. Probably in my entire hockey career, probably my most exciting.
Well said, Jared.
So you guys get down to St. Paul. You got to go through the tournament festivities, a lot of bright lights, got to be on TV, got to do all the pomp and circumstance that goes with the tournament. And then you get to face a Duluth Marshall team. And probably a game that you'll remember because it was the first time and it was the big stage, but didn't really go your way. Anybody want to talk about that a little bit?
Didn't we start late? Like, did we have a really
I
late?
say we got off to a terrible start because I think the game started after 9 o'clock. Didn't even get started.
It was like
well past 9.
We were supposed to start at 9, I believe it was back then, and we started at like 9:45.
Yeah, it was late.
Did Jared did somebody fall asleep or like take a nap almost?
Probably me.
Yeah,
I thought Jared was like,
it was late. I mean, that was tough to. I mean, again, they were dealing with the same circumstance, so I can't say like that's the excuse. But but it definitely didn't help. I mean, they were really talented. They were skilled. They were good. They were fast. They were a good team, but that didn't help in anything. You know, it'd been nice 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at least to kind of start would have maybe helped a little bit.
I think they ended up having 7, 8 guys go D1, and one of them ended up winning the Hobie Baker.
They had a Hobie Baker. They had at least 5 or 6 D1 guys. Yeah.
Well, they had a solid team, but they had been there before, right? Am I not mistaken? I mean, it wasn't their first time either. And, you know, we were so excited and we didn't play till 9:45. I think we probably burnt a lot of energy before the game, you know, all day long. We didn't, like Cooch said in the interview, we didn't know what to do all day. You know, we went to the arena to watch games. I don't remember really going back to just having hotel time prior to the game much.
I don't.
Yeah, we were at the rink a long time. I do remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a very stimulating day. You know what I mean? Like from start to finish. So
Yeah, looking back, I think it's like we went tits up when they did the announcements. It was like you announce your name, and apparently they gave directions at some point. They didn't give any to me. Or maybe they did, and I didn't think it. I didn't do the mental math and realize I was the lowest number. I was going to be the first one called. So I stopped like exceptionally short of where I was supposed to. So I think that somebody said on TV they can see us kind of start shuffling after about 4 guys.
I don't know if I watched the whole game back. So I'd be, I guess I didn't realize you did that even.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I remember shuffling.
Yeah.
I remember you sticking a guy pretty good.
Yeah, he had it coming. Even the linesman agreed with me.
So you went from the big stage of the Xcel Energy Center to another kind of iconic rink in the state, Mariucci, and for some of you, it's probably your only time to play there. For others, like Jared, it got a few more chances, but you went over there the next day. You'd take on Shakopee in the consolation semifinals. Let's just talk a little bit about that game. What stands out to you from that one?
I think they scored with like 2 seconds left in the first period to like go up 2-0, 2-1.
I think we were down 2-0 after the first.
And then we have to play. Were we the first? We played at noon the next day or something.
Yeah, I played at noon the next day.
Yeah, I remember it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah,
I remember that at intermission, Kuchar losing it on us.
Yeah,
pretty good. Definitely got us motivated, and I think we came out playing really well the next 2 periods and got the win.
That must have been where the clipboard came in.
Yeah, I say that was if one clipboard happened there at the state tournament, that was the game, and that was the period that it happened.
Yeah, he was definitely good at motivator. I think he was like this far from my face. Don't want this to be our last game. Don't want to go 2-0 at state tournament.
Yeah,
that's the worst. So getting a win was big.
Right. So you got the win over Shakopee. Then the next day for the consolation championship, you're playing Albert Lee. Probably didn't go the way you wanted it to go, obviously. But when you look back at the whole experience, what do you remember? What stands out to you the most about that state tournament experience? Or what will you always remember and think of?
I still go back to when we stepped on the Excel and the crowd sport, the community sport was. I'm being like, I remember I was shocked. I really was as to how many people were there, to be quite honest. And so, and then I'll go with one thing Majorly says is your brother can never beat you at this. You scored the first goal for the Little Falls and state tournament. So your brother can never do that. So that's the one thing I got in him.
He can never do.
Yeah, for me, just stepping on the ice the first time was something that I'll never forget. Like just the lights, just being so bright, and just something that never experienced before, and something that like the next year we couldn't take for granted, and just drove us that much more to want to get back there and do that again. But just the whole community beforehand, leading up to the state tournament, and then stepping on the ice the first time would be my favorite experiences, and then getting a win. I mean, just to win at the state tournament. Yes, I would have loved to play better a couple other games, but to have that win is special too.
Yeah, I remember the lights being really bright too. Like, yeah, and yeah, that stood out to me too, Jake. But like, I think out of all of this, like what I remember the most and sort of like what I like bask in the most is that section final win. Like that to me was like that, like going to state was awesome, but it's almost like winning that section championship was like kind of like the pinnacle for me, weirdly enough, of this whole thing. So yeah, I don't know why exactly, but yeah, it's that section championship win in Alexandria. That was like, you know, it like I said, weirdly enough, has left more of an impact on me than actually going through the motions of being at the state tournament. So, yeah.
I have that picture, the big poster they made of our picture. I don't know why I have it, but it's downstairs. I have when we were moving. I found it in the cabinet thing that I had.
What do you mean you don't know why you have it?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why I ended up with it.
Trophy?
Huh?
The trophy, or what is it?
No, like it was like a big like poster. Our team, like picture we took with the trophy and down by the net
that's
there.
what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know why I have the big poster thing, but I literally just I saw it the other day.
My mom has one too at her.
Does she?
Office.
Oh,
it's massive.
Yeah, it's huge. But
good to see you guys every time I walk in there.
So good thing you have a big house. Put it in. Hang it up.
Who, me?
Yeah, hang it up.
Nowhere to put it.
Meredith would love it.
Oh yeah, she'd love that. But
I remember actually, when we won the game, I went to Jake and I basically tackled Jake and I hit my chin and was bleeding all the way down because I tackled him so hard, hit my face on the top of his helmet. You can see it in the video. I
think that was one of the bigger hits on the year. I
tackled
That's
everybody.
one thing I'll never forget that too. Like,
yeah. I came at you a little too hot.
That was fine. That was all right.
I was in the penalty box for the end of the game.
That's right. Okay. Of course.
Everybody else was celebrating on the bench, and I was they're high fiving and stuff. And
any way you get on the stat sheet, you'll take it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Throw me on stat sheet. One
more.
more.
Let me get those pims up quick. Scouts love it.
Joe, you got a steel trap. What do you remember?
When you and Jake talked about how bright it was, that really struck a chord with me. And there's one thing, is almost like stepping onto the ice. It was like extra hard. It just felt different for that first couple strides till you really got going, because it was almost like you were in a globe. You just aren't used to an atmosphere like that, where the stands are so vast and there's, a bunch of people from the community here and there. It's not totally full, but you're just trying to take it all in, and then take this, 2.5 by 2.5 piece of rubber and throw it in a net. It's a lot to take in. So, but it was like that really brightness at first. And, when you guys talked about how late the game was, I was like, God, I don't remember that one single bit.
Really? Oh man, it was brutal.
7:30 or something like that. I don't remember it being that late, but I was probably so jacked up on adrenaline that I just, couldn't even pay attention to it all. So yeah, that's what really struck a chord with me. And not as much you teach when it comes to the second final game. The thing that really sticks with me to that one was it was the first, and granted it was our first time going to state and stuff too, but I think just being so close to that the year before, that's what made that one a little extra sweet. And maybe because we went to state the following year as seniors, that's a little bit more stuck in my memory that whole year. This one just isn't as vivid for me, other than that first step onto the ice at the XL. It was just man, it's like you were in a globe. Felt.
Yeah, a little different than the Exchange Arena, that's for sure.
Yeah. Jared, when you had mentioned it too, talking how kind of going into that year, where the last few games of the year, the last half of the year, like we were fans deep in that arena. People were starting to come out from the community and really support us in that time. And like, it just kind of grew and grew. And after we did in the section final and go to state that first time, it was kind of like, this is a big deal for the Little Falls hockey program. And you really just started to see it kind of cascade and build from there. And the youth programs and stuff, which we were so fortunate to have our good youth programs with your guys' folks, Steve and Jared, and then the Hanowskis and everybody kind of pushing things along. I mean, I'll never forget Josh Klosowski and Josh Solom forcing us defensive players and peewees to learn how to juggle for our hand-eye coordination, So it was just cool stuff like that really like built our program all the way through and through and has kind of kept it going for a long period. It's been so fun to be gone for a bit and then see the success that the program has had.
Yeah. Like as a busy adult and dad now, it's like, God bless these youth coaches, man. Cause it's like, I don't know how the hell people, made time for that, but super thankful that they did.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking some time out this evening to sit down and share your perspective and your memories on the season and that section championship win in the state tournament. And I hope that down the road we get a chance to do this again sometime, and maybe then we'll try to see if we can't get Kuchar on and jog some memories. But for Michael and for Steven, I'm going to get a chance to talk with some of these other guys about the 05-06 season here coming up. But do you have a favorite memory of Kuchar or Majurli or any of the coaches from your playing days that you want to share?
I loved it when Kuchar would, act like he was deking around a couple of guys and go on a little breakaway and score a goal and celebrate. And then same with Majurli. He always had like I still do it to this day. You do the old
the back scratcher. Yeah, I love it.
So I'll do that too sometimes when people are looking at me like, what is that? It's just a classic. It's bringing it back. It's one of my favorites for sure.
That is a good one. I don't know if I have, I guess, a specific memory related. Cooch always was food. Like I always remember him. Krispy Kremes was in Maple Grove, and every time he went down to the cities and came back, he had 24 Krispy Kremes he brought back every single time. So I remember go down, and he was the gym teacher in the in the high school at that time. So we were in there with him, and so we knew if he was at there's Krispy Kreme donuts, we'd swing down there, and he always had an extra one. But yeah, I don't know. Food is important.
When we drove by it in Maple Grove, we have to salute.
Yeah, do the salute.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I enjoyed having him as coach. I still keep in touch with him, and we had a lot of good years, and through the high school years. So enjoyed having him as a coach, and good guy to be around. And again, still keep in contact with him a little bit too. So
cool. Well, thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate your time. And like I said, look forward to being able to have conversations like this again down the road. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Mark.
Yeah. Good seeing you, fellas.
Mark.
See you guys.
Good to see you, boys.
See you guys.